Listen closely, because what you're about to hear has fans clutching their pearls and refreshing their timelines like their lives depend on it. Just when everyone thought Yandy and Mendeecees had survived every storm imaginable, a new wave of scandal comes crashing in, and this one hits different. Whispers started as quiet murmurs behind the scenes, but now they've exploded into full-blown chaos, with fans shocked, insiders divided, and emotions running dangerously high. And the wildest part? Nobody seems to agree on what's really true. In this entirely fictional, reality TV-style scenario, Yandy, known for standing 10 toes down for her family, is suddenly accused of living a double life. Not one man, not two rumors, but a storyline so messy that even longtime viewers can't decide who to believe. The alleged betrayal? Supposedly happening right under Mendeecees' nose. The timing? Suspicious. The receipts? Questionable. And the reactions? Absolutely explosive. Sources in this fabricated drama claim the tension started bubbling after Yandy was spotted getting a little too comfortable with not one, but two mysterious men at separate events. Cameras didn't catch everything, but fans swear the energy shifted. Side eyes turned into think pieces. Innocent smiles became guilty looks. And before anyone could say, love and hip-hop, the internet had already made up its mind. Or had it? Things truly went left when Mendeecees was confronted in a tense, unscripted style moment and asked the one question nobody expected. So, are you single? What happened next allegedly stunned everyone in the room. Voices were raised, faces went stone cold, and according to our fictional insiders, Yandy snapped hard. What was supposed to be a casual question turned into a full-blown standoff, leaving friends frozen, producers scrambling, and the family left divided. Fans are shocked not just by the accusations, but by the silence. Why hasn't Yandy shut it all down? Why does Mendeecees look caught between anger and heartbreak? And why do the stories keep changing depending on who's telling them? Some say this is the ultimate betrayal. Others insist it's a setup gone wrong. But one thing's clear in this dramatized tale: trust is hanging by a thread, and every move from here on out could change everything. So buckle up, because if you think this is just another rumor, think again. In this fictional world of reality TV drama, lines are crossed, loyalty is tested, and the truth may be messier than anyone is ready to admit. And we're only just getting started. The whispers didn't explode all at once. They crept in slowly, like smoke under a closed door, until suddenly everyone could smell something burning. Yandy walked into that lounge smiling, confident, holding her phone like nothing in the world could touch her. But the room felt different. People stopped talking when she passed. Eyes followed her steps. Fans who had been cheering her name minutes earlier now leaned into each other, murmuring. Emotions ran high, even before a single word was spoken. Mendeecees wasn't there yet. That mattered, because according to this entirely fabricated drama, the moment he wasn't around was the moment everyone felt bold enough to speculate. A friend leaned toward another and whispered, "That's her again." Same energy as last week. Another voice replied, "Nah, this time it's worse." There were two of them, and just like that, a story was born. Yandy felt it before she heard it. She paused, turned slightly, and narrowed her eyes. "What's the problem?" she asked, her voice calm but sharp. Nobody answered. The silence said everything. A producer cleared his throat, trying to move things along, but the tension had already taken over the room. Fans watching later would swear they could feel it through the screen. Something was coming, and nobody was ready. Hours earlier, according to the fabricated timeline, screenshots had started circulating. Blurry photos, cropped angles, a man's arm around someone who looked like Yandy. Then another image, different location, different man, same smile. The internet did what it always does. Fans are shocked turned into fans are convinced. Comment sections turned into courtrooms. Everyone was a judge. Everyone had a verdict. When Mendeecees finally arrived, the air shifted. His presence always did that. He walked in slow, scanning faces, already sensing something was off. Yandy looked at him, searching his face for clues. Had he heard yet? Did he know? He kissed her cheek, but it lingered half a second too short. That's when she knew. Something had reached him. "We need to talk," he said quietly, pulling her aside. "About what?" Yandy shot back, irritation creeping into her tone. "Because I'm tired, and I'm not doing this in front of everybody." "That's funny," he replied, jaw tightening. "Because everybody seems to already be talking." The words hit her like a slap. "So you believe them?" she asked. "Already? I don't know what to believe," Mendeecees said. "But I know what I'm seeing. And I know what people are sending me." She laughed, but it wasn't funny. It was blazing. "Say it. Just say it. You think I cheated?" He hesitated. That pause was everything. Fans would later argue that the pause was louder than any accusation. I think something's not right, he said finally. That was enough. Yandy snapped. Don't do that, she said, voice rising. Don't sit there and play innocent like you're not accusing me. After everything I've done, everything I've stood by you through, you're gonna let rumors flip you like this? This isn't just rumors, he shot back. This is people saying they saw you. People I know. Oh, now you trust them more than me? She fired back. Names. Give me names, he didn't. Instead, he looked away, and that silence cracked something open. Across the room, a producer whispered, "This is bad." Another replied, "No, this is gold." Family drama was unfolding in real time, and nobody could stop it. Then came the moment that set everything on fire. A friend, trying to break the tension but making it worse, laughed nervously and said, "Damn, at this point I gotta ask, so Mendeecees, you single or what?" The room froze. Mendeecees turned slowly. Yandy's head snapped in the same direction. Her eyes widened, disbelief flashing across her face before rage took over. "Are you serious right now?" she shouted. "That's what we're doing." "I was joking," the friend stammered, immediately regretting it. "No, you weren't," Yandy said. "You were testing. Everybody here is testing." Mendeecees clenched his fists. "Don't put this on them," he said. "This is about us." "No," she yelled. "This is about disrespect. All of it." Voices overlapped. Someone told Yandy to calm down. That only made it worse. "Don't tell me to calm down," she snapped. "I've been calm while everybody drags my name." Fans watching later would say this was the moment the relationship cracked on camera. Not because of proof, but because of doubt. Outside the venue, the story grew legs. Blogs posted headlines within minutes. Fans refreshed nonstop. Yandy and Mendeecees trended for all the wrong reasons. Reactions poured in. Some defended her fiercely. Others said the signs were always there. The family was left divided, choosing sides quietly, painfully. Later that night, alone in their car, the silence was heavy. "Just tell me the truth," Mendeecees said softly. "Whatever it is." Yandy stared out the window, jaw tight. "The truth is I'm tired of proving myself," she replied. "And I won't beg you to believe me." He nodded slowly, hurt written all over his face. "Then where does that leave us?" She didn't answer. And that unanswered question lingered, hanging in the air, setting the stage for everything that would come next. The next morning didn't bring clarity. It brought chaos. Yandy woke up to her phone vibrating nonstop, messages stacking on messages, notifications screaming for attention. She didn't even have to open social media to know what was happening. The energy in the room said enough. Mendeecees was already awake, sitting at the edge of the bed, scrolling in silence. His jaw was tight, his shoulders stiff. The space between them felt wider than the room itself. "You gonna say something?" Yandy asked finally, her voice low but edged. He didn't look up right away. "I'm trying to understand how this got so big so fast, because people love mess," she replied. "And they love seeing me fall." He sighed and put the phone down. "They're not just talking. They're naming names now." That made her sit up. "What names?" He hesitated again. That pause returned, heavier than before. "Two guys. One from Atlanta, one from New York." Yandy let out a bitter laugh. "Wow, they really wrote a whole movie. You saying you don't know them?" He asked. "I'm saying I know a lot of people," she snapped. "That doesn't mean what they're implying." Downstairs, the kids were still asleep. That was the only reason voices stayed low. But emotions ran high anyway. Every word felt like it could shatter something permanent. "The blogs are saying you were seen multiple times," Mendeecees continued. "Private settings, not business." "Since when do blogs decide what's private?" Yandy shot back. "Since when do they get to define my life?" He rubbed his face. "I'm not trying to attack you. I'm trying to protect us." "By questioning me?" she asked. "By letting everybody else's opinions into our marriage." Before he could respond, her phone rang. She glanced at the screen and froze. It was her mother. "Don't," Mendeecees said quietly. "Not yet," but she answered anyway. "Hello?" The voice on the other end was tense. "Baby, what's going on?" Yandy closed her eyes. "Nothing. People talking." "People are always talking," her mother replied. "But this feels different. Your aunt called me." She said the family's confused. "Confused about what?" Yandy asked, though she already knew. "About whether they should be defending you or preparing for something else." That stung. "So nobody's defending me?" "Some are," her mother said carefully. "Some are waiting." Yandy ended the call abruptly. Her hands were shaking. "You hear that?" she said to Mendeecees. "Waiting. Like I'm guilty until proven innocent." He stood up. "This is bigger than us now." That was the problem. Once it became bigger than them, control slipped away. By midday, friends started choosing sides publicly. One of Yandy's closest friends went live, saying, "Y'all need to stop playing with that woman's name." Y'all don't know what goes on in her marriage. Fans flooded the comments with hearts and fire emojis. But minutes later, someone from Mendeecees' circle posted a vague message about loyalty and respect. The internet read between the lines instantly. Screenshots flew. Reactions multiplied. Fans are shocked became fans are fighting. Timelines turned into battlefields. That afternoon, Yandy left the house. She needed air. She needed space. She needed to feel like herself outside of the noise. But everywhere she went, eyes followed. Whispers trailed her steps. One woman even pulled out her phone and started recording openly. Yandy stopped, turned, and stared straight into the lens. "Say it to my face," she said. "Since you already saying it online." The woman looked embarrassed and lowered the phone, but the damage was done. That clip would circulate for days. Back at home, Mendeecees got a visit he didn't expect. His sister showed up unannounced. She hugged him tight, then pulled back and looked him dead in the eye. "I need you to be honest with me," she said. "What do you think is really going on?" He swallowed. "I don't know." "That's not an answer," she replied. "That's fear. I've stood by her through everything," he said. "Everything. But this feels different, or it feels familiar," she said softly. "Famed as this, pressured as this," he didn't respond. His silence said enough. That night, Yandy came home late. She didn't announce herself. She went straight to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and leaned against the counter. Mendeecees walked in slowly. They looked at each other like strangers who shared memories but not certainty. "I talked to my sister," he said. "Of course you did," Yandy replied. "She asked me what I think, and," Yandy challenged. "I told her I don't know." Yandy's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. "After all this time," she said quietly, "you still don't know me." He stepped closer. "That's not fair." "What's not fair," she snapped, "is me carrying us while you doubt me." Voices rose again. Accusations flew without proof. Hurt turned into anger. Anger turned into distance. Outside their house, a car sat parked longer than necessary. Someone was watching. Someone was waiting. Because in this fabricated storm, every moment was content, and every crack was opportunity. And as the night deepened, neither of them realized that the biggest twist hadn't even hit yet. The following day cracked everything open. Not with shouting, not with rumors, but with a name that never should have entered the conversation. Yandy was in the middle of a meeting when her phone buzzed with a text that made her stomach drop. It wasn't from a blog. It wasn't from a fan. It was from someone she hadn't spoken to in months. "They're saying I was one of the men." Her fingers hovered over the screen. For a moment, the room faded. The voices around her blurred. This was no longer gossip floating in the distance. It had a face now. A voice. A past. She stood up abruptly, chair scraping the floor. "I need 5 minutes," she told the room, already walking out. Outside, she called the number. It rang twice before he answered. "Why would you text me that?" Yandy demanded. "Because my phone hasn't stopped ringing," he replied. "People asking questions I can't answer." "You shouldn't be answering anything," she snapped. "You shouldn't even be part of this." "I didn't make it public," he said. "But someone did." Her chest tightened. "Did you talk to anyone?" "No," he said quickly. "But somebody's digging. And they're digging hard." She hung up without another word. Her hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't anger. It was fear, because she knew how narratives worked. Once a name was attached, truth became optional. By the time she got home, the blogs had updated. Sources close to the situation claim one alleged man has been identified. Fans are shocked didn't even cover it anymore. Fans were choosing sides like it was war. Mendeecees was in the living room, phone in hand, face pale. He looked up as she walked in. "Is it true you know him?" "Yes," she said instantly. "But not like that." His eyes darkened. "Then why does his name even make sense in this story?" "Because I've known him for years," she replied. "Before all this. Before us. And you never thought that might look bad?" He asked. "Look bad to who?" She fired back. "You or the internet?" That question landed heavy. "You didn't tell me he was still around," Mendeecees said. "Because he's not," she said. "He texted me today because he's being dragged into something fake." "Fake to you," Mendeecees muttered. That hurt more than anything else so far. The argument escalated fast. Voices rose. Old wounds resurfaced. "You act like I don't know what betrayal feels like," Mendeecees said. "I've lived it. And you act like I owe you perfection forever," Yandy shot back. "Like I can't breathe wrong without it meaning something." Down the hall, one of the kids stirred, and that stopped them both cold. The silence that followed was thick with regret. Later that night, Mendeecees left the house. He said he needed space. Yandy didn't stop him. She couldn't. Stopping him would feel like admitting guilt, and she refused to do that. Outside, cameras flashed. Someone had tipped off paparazzi. "Are you single?" a voice shouted. Mendeecees snapped. Don't ask me that, he barked, slamming the car door. The clip went viral in minutes. Inside the house, Yandy sat alone on the couch, scrolling through reactions she shouldn't have been reading. One comment stopped her cold. If he's snapping like that, it's because he knows the truth. She threw the phone across the room. By morning, the second alleged man entered the conversation. This one hurt differently. This one was closer to home. A mutual acquaintance. Someone who had been around family gatherings, birthdays, celebrations. Someone Mendeecees knew. Now this one, Mendeecees said later that day, holding up his phone, I can't ignore. Yandy felt like the floor dropped beneath her. That's insane, is it? He asked. Because everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody doesn't live my life, she replied. And you should know that better than anyone. Friends started pulling her aside, quietly. Just tell him whatever he needs to hear, one whispered. This is getting ugly. I won't lie to save a lie, Yandy said firmly. But even her confidence was cracking. A family meeting was called that evening. Both sides. Tense faces. Folded arms. Nobody smiling. Emotions ran high before anyone even spoke. We need to address this, one relative said. Because the kids are going to hear it. Address what? Yandy snapped. Lies, or patterns, someone else added. That was it. Yandy stood up. I will not be tried in my own family, she said. If you don't trust me, say that. Silence answered her. That silence was louder than any accusation yet. And as night fell again, one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't about cheating anymore. It was about belief. And belief, once broken, was the hardest thing to rebuild. Belief didn't just crack after that meeting. It splintered. The house felt colder, even with lights on and people moving through rooms pretending everything was normal. Yandy could feel eyes on her everywhere. Not angry eyes. Doubtful ones. Those were worse. The next day, Mendeecees didn't come home. He sent a text instead. I'm staying with my brother tonight. Need to clear my head. Yandy stared at the screen for a long time before responding. Do what you need to do. Her fingers hovered, then she added, I'm still here. She didn't know if that meant anything anymore. By noon, the blogs were running with the separation angle. Trouble in paradise? Sources say Mendeecees moved out. Fans are shocked all over again. Yandy's name trended solo now, no couple attached. That hurt in a way she didn't expect. Her phone rang again. This time it was one of the alleged men. The second one. The one that hit too close. I need to talk to you, he said, voice tense. This is getting out of hand. You shouldn't even be calling me, Yandy replied. People are watching everything. That's exactly why I am, he said. They're saying we were together last month. That we met in private. We were at a group dinner, she snapped. With 10 people. Try telling the internet that, he replied. They already decided. She hung up, chest tight. This was spiraling faster than she could control. Meanwhile, Mendeecees sat in his brother's living room, phone buzzing nonstop. Every notification felt like another weight on his chest. His brother watched him quietly before finally speaking. You don't look like a man who knows the truth, because I don't, Mendeecees admitted. And that's the problem, or you don't trust her enough to hear it, his brother said. Mendeecees looked up sharply. You think I'm wrong? I think you're scared, his brother replied. And fear makes you listen to everybody but the person you love. Those words stuck. Back at home, Yandy went live. Not planned, not polished, just raw. She sat on the couch, no makeup, eyes tired. I'm not perfect, she said into the camera. But I'm not what they're saying. And I shouldn't have to prove my innocence to strangers. Comments flooded in. Some supportive, some brutal. One read, if you have to explain this much, something's wrong. Another said, stand your ground, queen. The divide was clear. Mendeecees watched the live in silence. He wanted to feel reassured. Instead, he felt exposed. Like their marriage had become public property. Later that evening, he returned home unexpectedly. Yandy heard the door and froze. He walked in slowly, looking around like he didn't recognize the place. We need to talk, he said. We've been doing that, she replied. Hasn't helped. He sat across from her. I don't know who to believe anymore. Yandy's voice broke. That's the problem. It shouldn't be a question. Then explain the timing, he said. Explain why these names make sense. They make sense because I have a life, she said. A history. Before you. Before fame. And now? He asked. Now I'm married, she said firmly. To you. They stared at each other, years of love and pain sitting between them. A knock interrupted them. When Yandy opened the door, it was a family friend, face tight with concern. I didn't want to do this here, she said, but there's something you both need to see. She held up her phone. A new clip. Grainy. Misleading. Yandy at an event, laughing, leaning in close to someone. No context. No sound. Mendeecees watched, heart sinking. This is what people are seeing. This is nothing, Yandy said. This is a moment. Moments ruin marriages, the friend said quietly. That night, they slept in separate rooms. And in the silence, both wondered the same thing but were too afraid to say it out loud. Was love enough to survive doubt, or was this the beginning of the end? And now you've seen how deep this fabricated drama really goes. What started as whispers turned into accusations. What looked like rumors became names, faces, and moments frozen out of context. Emotions ran high, trust was tested, and a marriage that once looked unbreakable suddenly stood on shaky ground. Fans are shocked not just because of what was said, but because of what was never fully proven. Questions still hang in the air. Did doubt do more damage than any alleged betrayal ever could? Was this situation fueled by truth, or by the hunger for scandal that follows fame wherever it goes? The family was left divided, friends were forced to choose sides, and the internet played judge, jury, and executioner. Yandy stood her ground, refusing to confess to something she insists never happened. Mendeecees struggled between loyalty and suspicion, caught in the middle of public pressure and private pain. And even now, nothing feels resolved. Silence speaks louder than words. Distance feels heavier than arguments. And the biggest question remains unanswered: can trust be rebuilt once the world has watched it break? This is where you come in. Because stories like this don't live only on screens. They live in conversations, in opinions, in debates that keep the drama alive. So now it's your turn to speak. What do you think really happened in this fictional scenario? Do you believe Yandy was unfairly targeted, or do you think where there's smoke there's fire? Was Mendeecees wrong for questioning her, or was he simply reacting like any hurt partner would? Drop the and fame. And stay tuned, because if this fictional story has taught us anything, it's that in the world of reality-style drama, the truth is never simple, emotions always run high, and the next headline is only one moment away. Eyes.